walk through with her attitude. Gucci on the neck, I can't be mad at you.
Yo guys, what is going on? In today's GTA Online video, I'm going to be showing you guys my game settings. If you guys learn these settings and get used to them, then I guarantee that you guys are going to find the game a lot easier to play. One big highlight with these settings is how it changes your sprint button. So instead of like smashing A all the time or X if you're on PlayStation, you'll be pressing RB most of the time, and it's just a lot more comfortable in general. But with all out of the way guys, let's jump straight into the video. To start off with, we've just loaded into an online session. You guys can also alter your settings in story mode, so you don't actually have to be online to do this. We're going to be pressing the start button and then going over to our settings. I am going to be focusing more on the controls in the settings instead of like the audio and stuff, but I will go through them as well. So starting off with the controls, you will see a little box what says show controls for. This is where you can like change the controls for either third person or first person. I like to keep them very similar or technically the same. As you can see, my targeting mode is on assisted aim full. If you guys wanted to change that, you'd have to go into story mode. For vibration, I do like to keep it off. The reason I keep vibration off in this game is because there's a lot of explosives going off. I'm pretty sure if you even like brake in a car or anything like that, then you're going to get a lot of vibration in your controller, and it just annoys me really. This is really down to personal preference. Normally I just keep it off for literally every game I play, for example like COD or anything like that. For invert look, I like to keep that off as well. Now here's a big one. For third person control type, I like to use Standard FPS 2. What this is going to do essentially is just flip our run button or sprint button if you will, and trust me guys, it's very worth doing. You also want to have this setting on for the first person control type. This is so that like obviously if you switch into first person then you're using the same control type. I think Standard FPS 2 like changes the roll as well I think, but I'm not 100% sure. I think you just have to press A when aiming in to actually roll. But honestly guys, once you get used to this, it's so much better. Now for third person aiming sensitivity, I like to have this at the maximum. This pretty much means that I can like move my scope a bit faster when aiming in. If I did play in like 3 aim lobbies though, I'd probably like lower it around about halfway or something. For my first person look around sensitivity, I do like this like around a quarter of the way. This is because first person just moves a lot faster in general anyway. But then again, I haven't really experimented with it, put it any higher than that. Once again, it's down to personal preference with you guys. Now moving down to first person aiming sensitivity, I like this around halfway. It seems just about right for like any situation, especially with like a sniper in first person. But once again, it's also personal preference. Just use whatever you're comfortable with these sensitivity settings. Now we have first person look around sensitivity. I'm pretty sure this is just like the camera when you're like moving around with the right stick, so I just like this halfway as well, just the same as the one before. Moving down now, we have third person aim look dead zone. I like to keep this all the way up. I'm not entirely sure what it does, but it does feel alright. And bear in mind, like I don't change these settings very often, so I've had these settings probably since like 2015 or something. We also have first person aim look dead zone. You want to keep this at max as well. I think both of these are pretty similar as well. I just like to keep them both all the way up there. It seems fine to me. Now we've got a bit of a different one here. We've got the third person aim look acceleration. I think this is when you are aiming down your sight, and then if you spin around with your sight or something, it just speeds up. So I like to keep this one low on third person aim. And then we have it a bit different for the first person look acceleration. I like to keep it around just about halfway, because it just feels a lot more like snappier in a way. Now after them slider settings, we do actually have a toggle setting, and this is allow movement when zoomed. You definitely want this on guys. I mean, it just helps in like a fight or like when you're trying to dodge like NPCs or anything like that. If you don't have this on, then you're going to make yourself an easy target in a way, because I'm just guessing that you won't be able to move when aimed in. Now we have switch handbrake with duck/hydraulics. I like to keep this on because I remember on the 360, I think the A button was actually to drift, and that's what I've always been used to. And then when the next gen came out, it like switched it all around, so I just went into the settings and turned this back on, and I just prefer it like that. I mean, you guys can change it or not, it doesn't really matter. Now for drive-by control type, I like to use aim and fire. You guys can actually just have fire on this, but I like to aim as well. Like, I think it just makes it easier. I would recommend trying it out though. I mean, it's still decent either way. Now for the audio settings, it's just real simple. I think I've literally just left these default ever since I started playing GTA Online. But if the game volume is too loud, or like the dialogue from like Lester or someone's too loud, then I'd probably go in here and just turn it off or turn it down a little bit. Now we're going to be moving down to the camera settings. And for the camera settings, I do actually change a couple of things in here. For the first setting, which is allow independent camera modes, I just keep this off. I'm not 100% sure what it does, but it's been off for all this time and I haven't really noticed a difference. A big one I like to change is the vehicle camera height. I keep this on high because I don't know, I prefer driving with it on high. It just makes it feel better. In a way, I feel like I have more control over the vehicle as well. Try it out, guys, if you want. I mean, you might see a difference as well. For first person auto level camera, I keep this on. For first person on foot field of view, I keep this on full. For first person ragdoll, I like to keep that on. And for first person combat roll, I keep this off. I like to keep the combat roll off because when you do a combat roll in first person, it actually is horrible, especially if you're like 1v1ing someone or you're just against some NPCs. Then you can't really see what's going on around you when you actually do a combat roll. Next we have first person head bobbing. Turn that off because when you're in first person and you start sprinting, your screen will start to shake everywhere. That's what this is, I'm pretty sure it is, so be sure to turn that off very quickly. Next we have first person, third person cover. I'm pretty sure that means when you take cover in first person, you actually go into third person behind the cover. I have used this on before and it does help as well, but I prefer just being in first person and taking cover. Moving down, we have first person vehicle auto center. I'm not too sure what that is, but I just keep it on. Then we have first person vehicle HUD. I like to keep that on because you can get more accuracy in things like buzzards and everything like that, and the jetpack, so it can actually help in that aspect. And then finally we have first person drive-by camera relative to vehicle. I just keep this on. I'm not 100% sure what it does again, but once again I haven't actually noticed the difference with this being on or off. Now guys, we're going to be moving down to the display settings, and for the display settings, first of all I like to keep the radar on. I mean, I think it goes without saying, you kind of want the radar on. For the HUD or HUD, I like to keep that on as well because it obviously just helps you with the gameplay in general. Now for the weapon target, I like to use the complex one, as you actually get some crosshairs with this and not like a little dot on your screen, but that's up to you guys really. I mean, if you prefer the dot on your screen then it's fair enough, but I like the crosshairs. I used to play a lot of COD back in the day as well, so it just helps me out a little bit more and helps me with my accuracy. Now for simple reticle size, I like to keep this on full, and for GPS route, I like to keep this on. For expanded radar, I'd keep that off because it actually does, like, you know when you press down on your D-pad twice and it comes up with the expanded radar, that's what this is. So if you keep that on, then that'll be permanently there. So I'd like to keep that off. Obviously you can just press down on D-pad twice and it'll come up anyway, so I think there's no point having that on. Now for player overhead display, I have this off, but I'm pretty sure it'd be alright if I turned it on anyway. Once again, I don't think it'll make a massive difference to the gameplay. For safe zone size, that's up to you guys. I like to keep it near full, just so it like fills my screen. Now for the next setting, which is in-game depth of field effects, I like to keep this off because I'm pretty sure it like adds motion blur, and that can really like be annoying sometimes because you see like blurs in like the corner of the screens and then you can't really see what's going on sometimes, so I just go ahead and turn that off. Screen kill effects we turn on. Subtitles I like to have on just so I know if my TV is like muted or anything like that, then I can see what's actually gone on. And then measurement system, I like to use the Imperial measurement system. Once again, that's up to you guys as well. Moving down to the notifications tab, all this tab is pretty much down to your personal preference as well. Like phone alerts, I like to keep them on, stat alerts on, crew updates, just stuff like that. I would definitely recommend setting the message frequency to 1 hour, which is actually the max, so that you don't get buzzed on your phone all the time. But that's probably the most important setting from the notifications tab. Now for the Rockstar Editor tab, I mean, this is also a personal preference. It's up to you guys. If you use the Rockstar Editor, then you can switch some things up in here. Personally, I don't really use it very often. I mean, I used it to make an intro and that was about it. Now for the final one, which is saving in startup. This is actually a really good one. I recommend that you do this. If you play a lot of GTA Online, you want to switch it to the load into online. What this is basically going to do when you've got it set to start up online is when you launch GTA, it's just going to load you straight into online and not story mode. You can obviously switch this and turn it to load you into story mode every time you load up the game. It's quite a handy feature to use. I mean, I never really knew it was here until now. I must have changed it like a couple of years ago or something and then just absolutely forgot about the setting. But if you guys always play GTA Online, then set it to load into online. It'll save you some time. But that is all my settings, guys. If you did enjoy this video and you're going to try out some of these settings, then be sure to smash a like on this video as it shows your support for my channel and this video. Be sure to leave a comment down below on what settings you use or what you think is most effective. Also guys, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon to stay up to date with more GTA Online content. We're on the road to 3,000 subscribers and we're so close now guys. It's still bizarre to me that we've actually got so many subscribers. I love you guys. One final thing guys, make sure you follow my Twitter, it's linked down below in the description. I will try and be more active on there, so send me a message if you want and I will be sure to reply. Finally guys, stay safe and thanks for watching.